I always tell people the biggest problem people have is that they think they're not supposed to have any. But problems call forth in us if we don't give up. They cause us to grow. In the end, you've accomplished an enormous number of things in your life. You and I both, many people have, we both have. But it's like what you get will never make you happy.
Yeah.
Who you become will make you very happy or very sad. And that's an identity. And if you can find an identity, and then, by the way, that's what everybody sells in a product. Nike sells, you're an action person, just do it. Those shoes have nothing to do with it. They're just selling you on a feeling and linking it to their product. But when you really do that to yourself, when you really expand your identity, your life changes completely. And what used to be hard to do is easy.
It's a crazy world, crazy world. Somebody's gotta have to save you. It's a crazy world. It's a crazy world. Somebody's gotta have to save you.
So is it a constant battle, do you think, between those two things, not running too cool and not burning too hot, that even for someone like you that's sort of a master at this, you have to play within that to some extent?
Well, you have to keep expanding your identity.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you get stuck. When people say they're stuck, it's because they're only using a part of their capacity or part of their brain. So what I like to look at is, how do you expand your identity? You do things that violate your old identity. That's why I do a firewalk, or we took people skydiving.
Yeah.
It's like, if I get myself to do that thing I once thought was difficult or impossible, my brain goes, then what else can I really do that seemed to be difficult or impossible? For me, I remember when I was 16 years old, just about turned 17, and I had 4 different fathers, and my mom was a volatile person, great human being, but when she mixed prescription drugs with alcohol, it was pretty painful and disastrous. So I remember she kicked out another one of my fathers, and then she decided one night that Christmas Eve that I was on my father's side, and so she kicked me out. My dad went back to Chicago on his own. He didn't know I got kicked out. And she got my 1960 Volkswagen out at $40 a week, but I was working as a janitor, so I took buses to a place in Pasadena, California, San Marino, and I would work on these 2 banks in the middle of the night, still in high school, because I wasn't paid by the hours, paid by results. I could do 2 banks, I get paid well, come back home, get up on 3 or 4 hours sleep, and go to school. Well, I would take buses. Well, one night I finished at 2 in.the.morning, and I go out and I'm waiting for the bus on this main avenue. And, it's 2 in.the.morning, there's no cars. And I'm waiting, and 2:15 and 2:30. And right around 2:30, somewhere in that range, a car drives by, rolls down his window, goes, "Hey, buddy, didn't you know there's a bus strike?" And I'm like, "A bus strike?"
You've been working hard.
I work my guts. I don't have anybody I can call. I don't have anybody who can pick me up. Everything got stuff, and I'm about 16, 17 miles from home. So I ran. True story, Dave.
Wow.
I ran. But the way I ran was, I didn't know what I was doing at the time. I'd read a book called The Magic of Believing by Claude M. Bristol, this old book. And it talked about how to condition your mind. And it talked about incantations, not affirmations. You go, "I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy." And your brain goes, "BS, I'm not happy." But where you use your body, your voice, everything until your whole nervous system believes it and experiences it. So I started doing these really simple ones. First, I was angry. I'm going to show her. It was all about anger with my mom, but you only can run on anger so long.
Right.
You run out of fuel.
How many miles does that take you?
That probably lasts a mile.
Yeah.
And then I started going, every day and every way I'm getting stronger and stronger, every day and every way and I would do these incantations out loud while I was running. I ran 16 miles. I'd never run 3 miles in my life. I was beat up, as you might imagine, completely. I had shin splints and everything else. But I found a part of myself that I still use to this day. I found this identity that will not stop, that will find the way, that will push through. And we all have it, but it usually takes something really intense to bring it out. That's why, people don't want problems. I always tell people the biggest problem people have is that they think they're not supposed to have any. But problems call forth in us if we don't give up. They cause us to grow. In the end, you've accomplished an enormous number of things in your life. You and I both, many people have, we both have. But it's like, what you get will never make you happy.
Yeah.
Who you become will make you very happy or very sad. And that's an identity. And if you can find an identity, and then, by the way, that's what everybody sells in a product. Nike sells, you're an action person, just do it. Those shoes have nothing to do with it. They're just selling you on a feeling and linking it to their product. But when you really do that to yourself, when you really expand your identity, your life changes completely. And what used to be hard to do is easy.
How often do you fall out of that flow?
Do I have days where I'm frustrated or pissed off or overwhelmed? Of course, but I don't stay there. I mean, I would stay there for a month before or weeks before or hours before. Now, like I have a 180 second rule. It's like I got 3 minutes to get my shit together and change that thing. And I've done it so often, it's like a muscle. It's not like I'm so great. It's just you use a muscle over and again, it gets strong. Once it's strong, you tend to use it. So it's not very often. It takes, if something really knocks me off my game, I go, a worthy opponent. I finally got a worthy opponent. It's been a long time since something's knocked me off my game, but
is that usually a personal thing for you, or is it a professional thing for you? Like what sort of hits you harder?
Well, I think for everybody, personal is probably more than professional when it happens, but I'm pretty blessed in that area at this stage. I mean, if I went back 10, 15, 20 years, it'd be different, but my wife and I have been together 25 years. I mean, I love her more than I could ever describe in words. I love her more today than I first met her. And my kids, my family. I mean, that's my dear friends. I have what I call chosen family. People are my dear, dear friends. And we have some mutual people that we really care about together. So to me, life is about relationships. If the quality of relationships is extraordinary, your relationship with whatever you believe, the universe, your creator, your relationship with yourself, your relationship with your loved ones, your relationship with those that you want to serve, if those are strong, it's pretty hard not to have a great quality of life.
How much of all of this do you think is connected to societal trends? So, for example, right now I've sensed over the last couple months, sort of post-election, that there really feels to be like a renewed spirit in America. Like people are less fearful, at least in my little circles. There's a feeling like, America could come back. We could feel good about all of this stuff. And I think that actually really starts scaling at some point. And I think that this is going to be my first interview of 2025, which is sort of why I wanted to do it right now. It's like, if we can use that, man, that's rocket fuel to change everything.
I agree with you. Not everybody. Some people think it's the end
Of course. Yeah.
But you have to acknowledge that, right? It depends on certainly to some extent where people are politically. But I'm an independent. I voted on both sides. And I see, as you said, a lot more optimism. I see people who are on the left actually supporting Donald Trump, who were talking about him being evil before because they want the country to change. And I think, there's an old phrase from a good book called The Good Book. It says, without a vision, people perish. And if you ask, what was the vision of America for the last 4 years, even 8 years, it's not been clear. The greatest presidents we have brought a vision, right? Whether it's Kennedy talking about we're going to put a man on the moon and return him back to the earth, or Reagan and the city on the hill. You can pick any great president, and they had a vision for the country. And I think what's happened is there's a vision of change, and we're so dissatisfied with where it is that there's a surge of enthusiasm to say, let's go shift this thing. We can do it. We can make it happen. I think people are also getting tired of an identity of America being a terrible place, when America's made up of so many great human beings. I mean, we've made plenty of mistakes, like every country in the world, but I think we've done extremely well over the overall history, and we want to be better. But I think that optimism is real for a large number of people because it's new. It's always easier when it's new. The question is, will it hold up 2 years from now? And I think you have to get enough momentum here that people then start to say, yeah, that vision is being realized. If people see real results, then I think that optimism will grow and people will take more action. But if they don't execute, that's a different game. So it's all about execution. I always tell people knowledge is not power.
Do you
execution trumps knowledge every day of the week.
When Rumble first started in 2013, they built the platform for the small creator. They didn't censor or have biases. They were fair and treated all creators equally. No one thought platforms would censor political conversation or censor opinions around COVID, but they did. Facebook admitted they fell to pressure from the Biden and Harris administration. Of course, Rumble did not. They held the line. They're attacked daily for giving us a voice to talk to you. They're attacked in corporate media. They're attacked by governments like France. They're attacked by brand advertisers who refuse to work with them. Corporate America is fighting to remove free speech while Rumble is fighting to keep it. Rumble won't survive with brand advertisers alone. They don't get much of it. So watching our show is the number one way we can ask for support from you. But if you really believe in this fight and you have the means, one major way you can help Rumble survive is by joining Rumble Premium. Join the community that believes in the First Amendment and believes in our human right to free speech. Rumble is offering $10 off with promo code Rubin when you purchase an annual subscription. Go to rumble.com/premium/Rubin and use code Rubin. Like I said, if you have the means and believe in the cause, now is the time to join Rumble Premium. If you don't have the means, we're just happy if you watch us right here on Rumble.
Do you think that maybe there's some sort of inverse relationship between when things are going well and maybe when your message resonates more? Because if something isn't going well, then people, sort of at a meta level, then people need more of this, versus if it's going well, then they can kind of sit back a little
Well,
bit?
when people analyze who comes to my events, it's like, we're doing an event here in January, we have over 1 million people come, right? And they come and try to analyze, who are the demographics of it. And they're everywhere. I mean, we do 193 countries, every country in the world simultaneously, over 1 million people. And they all have one thing in common, one thing. It's not age, it's not economics, it's not political, it's hunger. When people are hungry, they change their life. So sometimes people get hungry because things are really rough. Sometimes people get hungry because they have a birthday with a 0 on it past 40. Sometimes people are hungry because they're going through a divorce. So sometimes pain makes you hungry. Some people are hungry, and that's why they're successful. They never lose that hunger. If you look at somebody, like Richard Branson, Sir Richard Branson, Richard is a friend, and I mean, he's as hungry today in his late 60s as he was when he was 16 and starting, Virgin in a Crypt. It's just, he's got that same hunger to do more, to be more, to create more. So yeah, sometimes painful things make people pay attention more, but no matter what the season is, people are looking to make improvements in their life. And I'm looking for the person that's hungry. That's who I can serve. If you're in that lukewarm middle where it's not that bad, not that good, I'm probably not the right guy for you. But if you're ready to say it's time to take it to another level, I've spent a lifetime getting skills on financial skills to turn it around, emotional skills, relationship, your physical body. The areas of life that really matter most have been my obsession for, at this point, this is my 48th year doing this, believe it or not. Started when I was 2.
I'm only on this earth for 48 years, so that's quite some time.
If you're looking for more insightful conversations about optimizing your life, check out our lifestyle playlist. And if you want to watch full interviews on a wide variety of topics, watch our full episode playlist, all right over here. And to get notified of all future videos, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell.